How y'all doing? This is Preacher Man R&B, and this is another Smallville Reviews Mondays. This week is Season 1, Episode 15. What happened on this week's episode, a guy that works for Lionel Luthor is going to help Dr. Hamilton with his lab, and when he's there, he steals this flower from Dr. Hamilton. And what this flower is, it was an old flower back when the Indians was around, and it grew on the land that Lex Luthor bought. And what it did, it had this toxin in it that made people do their deepest desires, and then it would put them in a coma, and then it would kill them. So what happened is Dr. Hamilton used the meteorites to revive this flower, and this guy got infected that worked at LexCorp, and when he's trying to get to Lionel Luthor, he's trying to pass Jonathan Kent, and he tries to run Jonathan Kent off the road, and then he wrecks his truck. When this happens, Jonathan Kent pulls him out of his truck onto the ditch, and the truck explodes. And it looks like it destroyed the flower too, but it didn't. I guess a seed or something got on this guy's clothes, or Jonathan's clothes, or whatever, but it grew right beside him, and it affected Jonathan Kent. Now when Jonathan Kent gets home, he starts acting strange. He's acting weird, and he's starting to have a little aggression too. And when the guy from the bank calls and tells him that his loan didn't go through, he goes haywire. So he goes to the bank, and he's on his way to the bank. He's cutting people off in the road. He's almost running over people, yelling. And Clark goes after him. And Clark sees that he has the gun with him, and I guess he's going to go try to get the loan by force. And Clark grabs the gun, and Jonathan Kent accidentally shoots Clark, but it don't hurt Clark. Clark's Superman. And after this, Jonathan Kent goes into a coma. And what we find out is the other guy was in the coma, and now Jonathan Kent's in the coma, and that's when they explain about the flower and stuff and all that. But during this, Clark, Chloe, and Pete's trying to figure out what's going on. And Chloe and Lana go to the crash site, and this is when Lana gets affected. She gets affected, and she starts acting weird. She breaks up with Whitney. She flirts with Clark, and some other stuff happened. And then she goes into a coma. And then when Pete and Chloe was investigating Dr. Hamilton's lab, Pete accidentally knocks over a container with another flower in it, and then Pete gets infected, and he goes after Lex Luthor because he don't like the Luthors for what they did to his family. And he gets a gun and steals Chloe's car and goes after him. And when he goes to Lex's house, he sees that Dr. Hamilton's there, and Pete shoots Dr. Hamilton and tries to kill Lex, and Lex he drops the book with the antidote in it into the fire, and it almost burns up. But Lex gets it, and Dr. Hamilton hits Pete and knocks the gun out of his hand. And then Dr. Hamilton leaves, and Pete's shooting at him. And then Clark shows up. And Pete's trying to convince Clark that Lex has been screwing him over. He's been behind his back working with Dr. Hamilton. And Clark acts like he believes Pete to confuse Pete. And when Pete tries to shoot Lex, Clark grabs the gun for Pete and then knocks Pete out by tapping his hand on his forehead, and knocks Pete out. Well, after this, Lex gets the antidote, and everybody's waking up. And at the end of the episode, Lex moves Dr. Hamilton's lab to Cadmus Labs. And earlier episodes, Lex was looking into Cadmus Labs. And in the comics, Cadmus is what makes Superboy and all this. And we're getting the stepping stones to that. My thoughts for y'all is, what do you think is going to happen with Cadmus Labs, and what do you think they're going to make, and what do you think is going to affect the Smallville series? As always, Preacher Man R&B signing out, guys. Jesus is awesome. See y'all next time.